The 5 best picks against the spread absolutely nailed the number 1 and the number 2 last week. You're going to have to hang around to get the absolute best picks of the week, but we promise we're going to deliver some value around here. Rich Hribar, we are back. It's week 3. Every game on the main slate, bar 1, went over its total last week.
Mm-hmm.
We got some football, man. We got some points. We got some completed passes. We have some scrambling. We're picking our 5 favorite games against the spread. What is your 5th favorite game against the spread this week, brother?
Yeah, it was nice to see. It was kind of the inverse of week 1, right? Where everything on the main slate went under. And then
Yes.
The Bills Ravens game went nuts, and like the opposite because the Sunday night game was trash last week.
So
and everyone
bad.
it
So
was
bad.
set football back to week 1. But that's all right. We had a fun game last night, and so we'll jump
Relatively
into week 3.
fun.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
fun.
they kept us at least engaged throughout. That was all we could ask for, right? Like, and you had like the people tweeting about Tua, like all that stuff. It's fun. Do you remember the Tua Justin Herbert debates for like years? Like for like the first 2 years, there was like a big Justin Herbert versus Tua debate because everyone still hates Justin Herbert to a degree. Social media wise, like the ball knowers always love Justin Herbert, but like there was a big like thing. Remember when they it was like, oh my gosh, Justin Herbert's worse than Tua.
Justin Herbert's a social media quarterback. Yes, yeah. I'm firmly. Yes, I absolutely know, and remember. And this is going to be a big Justin Herbert week. Justin Herbert, our thumbnail star today, and our best bets for week 3. I mean,
is he on your card? Is that a spoiler alert?
Oh yeah, spoiler alert. The Los Angeles Chargers are on my card for sure. I was a Justin Herbert hater. I also was a Tua hater. Really, I just hated on a lot of these guys, and
You're just a hater.
I'm just a hater. And sadly, really what's happened is I really have been forced to just reevaluate all these positions because now my quarterback's bad and my team's bad. Everyone hate watches my team. He's still Mahomes. Like I'm not saying this dude is dead, but it's been a long time since he's really flexed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He hasn't flexed in a while. I'll tell you what, in the 4:00 slate last week, I played a shitload of Tyquan Thornton. And when he airmailed that one where the defender didn't even guard him, I was on like super tilt. And then they got one back for us. But man, when he missed that one where the coverage was blown, I was just like, what happened, Pat? Like what happened?
Yeah. It's really unbelievable.
Scrambling Pat is fun though.
Lowering his shoulder into guys. It's not sustainable. Not a sustainable way to play football for Pat. And no one wants to watch it. They say Xavier Worthy's going to play this week. Remains to be seen there.
Won't be able to lift his arm, but he's going to play football.
Won't be able to lift his arm. He weighs 160 pounds, but it's totally fine. It's just going to be really nice and straightforward. All right, Reeves, man. What's your number 5 pick?
I was just delaying it because my number 5
because it's so bad
is the Jets.
Oh God! Starting off with the New York Football Jets, bro.
I was just trying to kick the can to avoid it.
That's so brutal. All right, give me. Why are we taking Tyrod Taylor and the New York Jets?
Yeah, the Fighting Tyrods. It's with the Buccaneers. Just are missing too many dudes, right? To lay almost a full
3
touchdown.
Offensive linemen,
and they might be missing 4, depending today. The news if Michael Jordan plays, who hasn't practiced yet this week, but they're down Tristan Wirfs, they're down right tackle Luke Goedeke, they're down guard Cody Mock, who also went on IR. They're also down defensive tackle Kalijah Cansey went on IR too, one of their best pass rushers. So like there's missing a lot of dudes. It's also one of those like extreme flop lag spots where like the team that gets blown out the week before is always kind of a better bet to come back and cover the week after. Although I do have one of those I'm still betting against this week. But I really have no analysis outside of there's just too many Buccaneers guys injured. Tyrod their projects probably won't be as bad as last week. And I'm just hoping to get a backdoor here.
I mean, look,
the Buccaneers have not been good on offense through 2 games. They're like low key. Like they've been pretty bad.
I mean, they were in a real position to lose to the Houston Texans if Rachaad White had not had just a Super Saiyan moment in their scoring drive prior to the absolute end was just like Rachaad White gaining chunk plays, breaking tackles. You know, it was just like absolutely unbelievable. So shout out to them. I have a more disgusting one for my fifth.
All right, man, let's hear it. I love it. I love it. If you
Potentially,
get a more disgusting one than the Jets, I'm ready for it.
I've got a more disgusting one for you. This is how disgusted I am with D'Amico Ryans, with CJ Stroud, with the Houston Texans offensive line, with Xavier
This one's
Hutchinson.
not grosser than the Jets.
I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars minus
Yeah.
a point and a half at home. And I'll tell you why this is more disgusting, because everyone has kind of had this come to Jesus moment this season already. We've already realized that Trevor Lawrence is not going to be able to be Baker Mayfield, that he's not going to be able to execute the Liam Cohen system the same way. We've had a realization that Brian Thomas Jr. might not be quite as good as we thought. A lot of his production last year might have been a heliocentric Mac Jones offense where his primary target competition was Parker Washington and Brenton Strange. Really, betting on the Jaguars is always bad. That's why it's my number 5. But at this point, I am just like blindly fading the Houston Texans. There were multiple snaps against the Buccaneers last week where every Tampa Bay Buccaneers pass rusher beat their guy, or CJ Stroud was scrambling with, it would be offensive line here, defensive line here, CJ Stroud right there. Like, just like I have never really seen offensive line play that bad in the NFL. Nick Chubb, prior to that touchdown run, where I'm fairly certain the Buccaneers let him score, not 100%, call it like 66% certainty that the Buccaneers let Nick Chubb score on that play. Prior to that, he had averaged less than a yard per carry. It just, they can't run. They can't pass. They're not playing the young guys. They're not playing Jaden Higgins. They're not playing Jalen Noel. They're probably getting Christian Kirk back this week. So that is going to continue even with Justin Watson being on the season-ending IR. I just do not think the Texans have anything.
I mean, I have no counterpunch. Nick Caley's done one of the worst jobs, I think, through
So
2
bad.
weeks. They've used pre-snap motion. Not only 31% of Stroud's dropbacks, his first 2 years in the NFL it was 55.6% and 59.5%. They used play action on only 11.8% of his dropbacks. His rookie year, it was 26.5%. Year 2, 23.6%. So we're talking less than half. He's also just been in static shotgun for 68% of his snaps, probably to try to help the offensive line as much as possible, but that's way up too. It's also hard to just play that way in the NFL right now. Like, teams have kind of found, like, you have to have like that movement. We're seeing this with the Eagles, right? The Eagles are just running a lot of static shotgun and not doing anything creative, and it's been a real problem for them to open up any type of shot plays. And yeah, so I mean, I don't really have a problem. This is not grosser than the Jets though, but I'm fine with it.
It just feels like anytime Trevor Lawrence gets involved, that things start to get gross, but maybe Tyrod Taylor is more disgusting. All right, that was my 5. Reeves, what is your number 4?
My 4 is I'm going there to that team that we talked about and going against them, and I'm gonna take the Rams plus the hook here, plus the 3.5. I really love what the Rams are doing, and really loathe what the Eagles are doing right now. Sean McVay is doing the opposite, like, and he's like kind of ahead of the meta. He's gone against what the old McVay system was, right? Like, McVay was a big 11 personnel guy, and he liked to run out of 11 too, but he was part of the forefront of like this defensive meta coming around, like the shell coverage and the the lighter boxes, base nickel and stuff like that. But now he's flipped. Matthew Stafford's been under center for 65% of his dropbacks, the highest rate in the league. The league rate is 29.9%. So like significantly different. His previous career high in a season was in 2019, where he played under center for 47% of his snaps. And what happens when you can play under center now is the opposite of what we talked about with CJ Stroud. Is you get to run all the motion and play action, which are kind of like the little like hacks now offensively. On those under center snaps, the Rams have been in pre-snap motion 71% of the time, and they've used play action on 77% of those passes. And Stafford's like splits are enormous. Like, I had a thread on this earlier in the week, so you can check out this. I won't recite like all the stats. But the Eagles are doing the exact opposite. Like, they're the first team to go 2-0 since 2010 without a passing touchdown. They have 3 passing plays of 10 or more yards in 2 games. The next closest team is 11. It's just they're not playing any type of fun football. Kevin Patullo's not generating anything explosive in this offense. it feels like they just got by, and I feel like right now the Rams could just outright be a better football team than the Eagles. And they took them to hell last year in the NFC playoffs. It wasn't the championship game; it was the week before. So, with the hook, even if they don't win, I'm going to take the 3.5.
The Philadelphia Eagles are doing something that, in my opinion, is extremely misguided. They're doing the Kansas City Chiefs thing where the regular season doesn't matter to them at all. They are sleepwalking through games. They're not attempting to do anything dynamic. They are taking what the defense gives them and what they know they can do. Like, effectively, they set themselves up on every, 2nd and 4 to just be like, all right, well, we'll get a couple yards and we'll do the tush push and we'll keep it moving, which sounds good because you just continually get first downs. You hold the ball. Your defense stays on the sideline. You put the game in the hands of Jalen Hurts as a rusher and in Saquon Barkley. And, every consecutive Saquon Barkley rush attempt gives you the ability to break the game. Like, eventually, over the course of the season, if you give Saquon Barkley 22 rushes in a game, once every 3 games, once every 2 games, sometimes twice in the same game, as he did against the Rams in the regular season, he'll just break off a 70-yard touchdown. But they're trading that in at the expense of explosion in the passing game. They're trading that in for A.J. Brown down the field. They're trading that in for Devonta Smith down the field. And I think that's a bad trade. I think it's a really bad trade. This one did not make my list, but I think it is something that is going to set them up to be further behind the 8 ball in the postseason than they want to be, where if they get into one of these dogfight games, like a Lions versus Eagles game, even without Ben Johnson, even with some of the frailties that we saw from the Lions in week 1, I'm like, Jared Goff can kind of get them out of a funk easier than Jalen Hurts can. They are relying on the tush push like a crutch. And I hate it. Like, the tush push was awesome and still is one of the most effective short yardage plays, but making that your identity as an offense is a really bad idea, I think.
It's, I mean, the last time I'll say if you're looking to have hope this week for the Eagles, like maybe this is like the week that they get pushed and they have to uncork it a little bit, is the last time that A.J. Brown was on a football field with Emmanuel Forbes. He did drop 175.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Now I don't know if you are going to consider this one gross or not.
I already beat you. You can't top the Jets.
I'm not gonna beat it. My opinion is that 7.5 is a little bit too much of respect for the Seattle Seahawks at home against the New Orleans Saints. You can get 7.5 at BetOnline. You can get 7.5 at FanDuel. You can get 7.5 at the DraftKings Sportsbook. I think 7.5 with the hook here is pretty good. Rattler, obviously not a great quarterback, but he's not taken any sacks. He's been an effective scrambler. He's above average in CPOE. He has good players to throw the ball to. I mean, a very underrated thing about being a quarterback in the NFL is if you have Olave, Shaheed, and Juwan Johnson and Alvin Kamara out of the backfield, that's pretty good. Obviously, Seattle does have, you and Silva were getting me on this in the preseason when we did our main event draft. Like, Seattle's defense is really good. I don't think that Rattler is going to walk in and just, have his way with Seattle. But 7.5 points is a lot because Seattle has been pretty ineffective on offense. Like, the entire offense is built out of hoping Kenneth Walker breaks one because Charbonnet has been brutal. I believe he's below 40% success rate on the touches he's gotten this year. Walker was really bad in week 1, had the one nice run on 3rd and long last week. I mean, I think these are two teams kind of Spider-Man meme pointing at each other. Like, Darnold's definitely a little bit better than Rattler. The Saints defense also is not terrible despite what they allowed Mac Jones to do to them last week. I am taking the New Orleans Saints plus 7.5 points on the road against the Seattle Seahawks, which is also interesting because Seattle is a super popular survivor pick this week.
Yeah, I considered this one, and then I was kind of just like I backed off just for the sake of it's like their first road game. They played 2 games at home and kind of hung around and kept tight. And like going to Seattle is really tough, so I just kind of left that one off. But I have no problem with it. They've been fighting. Like, Kellen Moore is failing properly, right? Like, they're gonna end up with a high draft pick and and have something that potentially they can build on. I think Kellen Moore, through 2 weeks at least, has done a job of failing successfully.
Kellen Moore was always going to have a better offense than the haters thought. There was going to be more interesting wrinkles. There was going to be Olave and Shaheed used in more creative ways than they were used under Clint Kubiak and other offensive coordinators that they've had. He was always going to be able to use Juwan Johnson in a way that, I mean, this guy's a converted wide receiver who got up to tight end size. It should have always been evident that you should use his ball skills. Like back-to-back weeks, week 1, week 2, the touchdown was ruled incomplete in week 1 for Juwan Johnson. Then basically effectively the same play in week 2, he scores on that play using Juwan Johnson, actually making the offense a little bit less heliocentric around Alvin Kamara, like still giving him the ball a lot, but not like, hey, 29-year-old running back, can you just handle the ball on 60% of our offensive snaps and hold up there? Like, I think that has been a good plan. And these guys are going to be good for fantasy, right? Olave, Shaheed, and Kamara, they're like all kind of going to get there for their cost in fantasy football, assuming they don't get, if this team starts to get like cluster injuries on the offensive line and stuff like then it's going to go south really quickly because they just don't have Rattler's not good enough there. But the New Orleans Saints plus 7.5 points are my 4. Reeves, what is your 3?
My 3 is only because it's a larger line with the hook you're also laying it is the Packers. Just feels like I don't know how the Browns can score enough points here. Like even if it's like 20-10 and this is a cover, right? Like I just don't know how the Browns score points in this game. The Packers defense has been awesome with Micah Parsons on the field this season through 2 games against Jared Goff and Jaden Daniels, mind you, not Joe Flacco. Passers have completed 58.8% of their throws for 4.5 yards per pass attempt at a 68.4 rating. Seems like a pretty good trade. Maybe this one will fall on like the line of history of the Packers getting like Charles Woodson and Reggie White, right? Like just history of like getting like Hall of Fame dudes that just went nuts for the Packers when they changed over there. But I just don't know how the Browns score enough points here offensively. We've seen them in week 2 face like a defense that was competent and they just really struggled to move the football. They got a garbage time touchdown late. It's a bummer because this defense is really good and the Browns defense kept them in that game as long as possible against the Ravens. Like they gave the Ravens a little bit of hell, especially running the football. And in the first half, Lamar Jackson was under 5 yards per pass attempt. But your defense in the NFL can only, it doesn't matter how good it is, it can only hold up so much to a good offense. And I feel like that's what we still have here too with Matt LaFleur, being able to scheme up enough points here against a really good defense. So I'm just going to lay this 7.5 here. Don't know how the Browns really get there in the points.
I mean, it's so interesting that basically the Packers are sort of perfectly set up to crush this Browns team because the Browns can't run. They're not really, and they're not going to be in a game. They're not going to be in a position to do so. They also, like, what are the Browns going to do? They're going to drop back 97 times against Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary and Devontae Wyatt and Luke Van Ness. Like, it's just not going to work. Now, it could be like a very wild fantasy game where like Flacco literally has like 60 dropbacks and they're throwing a bunch of quick passes to Harold Fannin or whatever to try and mitigate the pass rush. It is, look, it's a relatively large number here, but I guess, 7.5 doesn't really feel that crazy. And the Browns, it's been fun for us as fantasy players to get the PPR scam from like Dylan Sampson, and Judkins had 10 rushes for 61 yards and all that stuff. But like from a real life perspective, the offense has been bad. Like they like actually don't have anything. They are not going to be super explosive. A lot of people, I've gotten a lot of comments on like YouTube videos like, oh, I'm going to start Judkins this week. He looked so good last week. And I'm like, did you guys see what Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt had against? Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt got 4 rushes against this defense, and then they just said, get out of here. Obviously Judkins like a higher pedigree guy, but it's not a game script where the Browns are going to be able to just put their noses down and run, even at home. I'm interested in this game because the Browns through 2 weeks look a little bit like a run funnel. Like the run defense is really, really good.
Yeah.
Tucker Kraft might
and
not
LaFleur is
play.
the opposite. That's what I'm curious to see.
That's what I'm curious to see. I'm curious to see, do they kind of let the Browns hang around in this game because they're unwilling
They're
to
running Josh
it?
Jacobs. Yeah, they're doing
running
Josh Jacobs for 2.5 yards a carry.
Or is LaFleur a little bit more pragmatic and just says, hey, man, Jordan Love playing really well. Dontavian Wicks went 3 for 3 targets to catches last week. We want to get Matthew Golden going. He had the near misses against the Washington Commanders last week. Oh, expected fantasy points all-star Matthew Golden, 34-yard touchdown he doesn't quite secure, and then a 96-yard touchdown that if Love just puts a smidgen more touch on that one, we have a 96-yard Matthew Golden touch. I mean, truly, like 28 fantasy points left out.
This is the kind of defense like LaFleur and that system historically carves. Like they love aggressive man-to-man defenses that like the blitz. Like, I mean, that's how Dan Quinn got cookie jarred. Jordan Love is actually the second most blitz quarterback in the NFL through 2 weeks. I mean, the Shanahan tree loves when you give them, just love attacking aggressive defense. They're going to scheme guys, open pretty regularly. So that's what's going to make this interesting, fun, making that matchup fun. Is if they do want to throw the football, I think they're going to have spots where they can scheme some stuff open pretty well.
Yeah. I'm excited to see it. Okay. I did not have the Green Bay Packers on my list because it's a pretty big number.
It is, yeah, 7.5. It's definitely it's open.
This is one that the comment section is going to hate. Feel free to comment down below just how bad you think this pick is. I am taking the Las Vegas Raiders plus 3.5 points at the Washington Commanders. You can get 3.5, pretty much wherever. Seems like you can even maybe get 3.5 plus money if you go to some of these P2P exchanges. I obviously do not believe that Geno Smith is near as bad as he was against the Chargers. It's my operational thought right now that a lot of teams are going to have really bad games against the Chargers. I'm curious your opinion on that. But the Chargers they're just gonna have a lot of teams up against the wall. Mariota is starting. Now I believe from talking in our group thread that you're in on Mariota this week. I am nearly. I'm not nearly as in on Mariota. He was pretty good in the games that he played last year.
He had more fantasy points per dropback than Lamar Jackson last year.
Yeah, he got to beat up on the Carolina Panthers
and the Cowboys.
He got to beat up on the Cowboys, ran 18 times for 92 yards, maybe a little bit of a late career resurgence here.
As a min QB, man, this is our dude, man. This is the guy. People want to play Jake Browning and Carson Wentz. You don't want to play Marcus Mariota?
Yeah. So I think that, that's like kind of interesting from a
also
DFS.
You're so Browning pilled. I gotta hear this because like I've seen you a few times like talk about something. Like people are like tweeting things about like Jamar Chase averaging 13 fantasy points per game with Jake Browning. I'm like, do people know 13 fantasy points per game is terrible?
Yes.
Like that's bad. Like that's a bad stat.
So I'm Browning pilled just because I don't think they're going to be able to run at all.
Oh,
so
no.
I think that we're going to see like truly like 40 dropbacks per game, maybe more from Jake Browning, and he gets to throw to Jamar Chase and he gets to throw to T. Higgins, which is a pretty good situation. Like in that Roto World League we're in, I'm starting CJ Stroud. So I added Wentz.
Oh, yeah.
I added Wentz and Browning. I don't think Browning's going to be good. I think that the Bengals are obviously going to lose a bunch of games, but I think it'll be similar to, the Nick Mullins run in the Minnesota. Like, I just think that is what we're in tune for with Jake Browning. But the Raiders, my guess is that we see less of the farting around with Zamir White and Dylan Laube this week. My guess is it's just going to be much more straightforward on offense. It's just going to be Genty first down, Genty second down, Bowers third down. And low key, even in that Giants game, the Commanders' offense really did not look that good. It looks like we're getting into peak Cliff territory, where Cliff is kind of gotten to Cliff had gotten to the ceiling of what he could achieve with the players he had, and then he starts to regress. I mean, that game against the Packers was winnable. They did not need to just easily lose that game. It was what was it? It was a 3-point game at half, correct?
They did botch a little bit. They botched. Dan Quinn definitely botched a time management scenario at the end of the first half, for sure.
Yeah.
I never felt that they were going to win that game, though.
No, I didn't either. But part of the reason why I never felt they were going to win that game was because Cliff was just mismanaging everything. It was just.
Well, Dan Quinn was mismanaging a lot too.
Both. both. Cliff taking a lot of really good players and making them play horribly. Like also they kept missing those field goals, which is brutal. My boy, by the way, Psychedelic Curse won the game changer for 100K last week with Amon-Ra St. Brown. So you do love to see that.
You do love to see that.
I've got the Raiders here as a dog. I mean, I think
I have no problem with that.
I've got Gino. I think Gino's better than Mariota. If I will say, I will totally start to readjust my priors both for betting and for fantasy football if Bowers and Gene T do not combine for like 67%. Also, I totally misremembered it was 14-3 at halftime. But other than that, like if Bowers and Gene T and Jacoby Myers are not 80% of the offense this week, it will mean that Chip Kelly is just way too in love with his own offensive system, and neither he nor Carroll has their fastball to any degree. So that was my 3.
All right, my 2 is the Colts.
This was also my 2.
Yeah, I'm just gonna believe. I think at this point, I'm just gonna take what the Colts are showing us and say, like, it probably doesn't run this pure, but like this is a team that had the infrastructure in place. That's why we kind of were excited to get a guy like Anthony Richardson involved, right? Like Shane Steichen, proof of concept, like with Justin Herbert and Jalen Hurts. There's like this guy can coach offense. They had a good offensive line at the time. It's depreciated a little bit since Steichen took over, but it's still solid. They've got a really good pass catching unit. Honestly, like their top 5 pass catchers are like pretty solid. Like they don't have like an elite guy. Warren, I think, could probably get there, but like Pittman, Pierce, Mitchell, Downs, and Warren is like really good. That's like a solid group. And then you have Jonathan Taylor. Like this is a really good offense. You add Big Lou as a defensive coordinator. They spend some money on defense. Like this feels like one of those teams that like isn't overachieving necessarily. It's like this is probably a well put together team, and if they get competent quarterback play like they have, it's a team that is probably above average to good. And I just really like what they showed last week against Van Joseph. And this was a little bit of probably a softer matchup for Cam Ward to improve over the first 2 weeks against just in terms of pass rush. The Colts don't have a pass rush nearly like the Denver Broncos and the Los Angeles Rams. So Cam Ward won't have to deal with that to the same degree. But this just still feels like 2 teams that are on opposite ends of the totem pole here in terms of where the hierarchy lies early in the season. And maybe Daniel Jones comes crashing back to earth, but I actually don't believe he will. I saw some kind of threads out there saying like he could be this year's Derek Carr. I think he's probably more on like the Baker, Sam Darnold spectrum, where I actually believe he's going to sustain being a viable quarterback. Now he's not going to get a 1-yard touchdown run every week for your fantasy team, but I do think that he's going to be an above rate quarterback in the system the rest of the season.
I mean, he might get 12 1-yard rushing touchdowns over the course of the year. It's a play that Shane Steichen has always liked. That's always been a huge part of the offenses that he's engineered. How damning for Anthony Richardson that Daniel Jones has been this good. It's not like Daniel Jones is dropping back and like scrambling and executing.
He's just running the offense. He's just running
the offense. He's Jason Kidd. He is Darren Williams. These are throwbacks that people are not going to remember, but he is executing the offense. His hero throw rate, really low, 4.8% hero throw rate, but he is not doing any turnover-worthy throws. He is just, his adjusted completion percentage is 74.2% on the fantasy points data suite. Like,
well, that's what killed Richardson. Is Richardson would make a few throws where you're like, damn, this is like what everyone drafted, right? Like that, like last year in week 1, he had that insane throw to Alec Pierce. He had a couple throws. He had a throw against the Lions. That was awesome too. And he came back as a starter, but he just missed so many layups. Like Shane Steichen was killing himself. Like you got to have the layups, and Daniel Jones may not be able to do the play that like the Alec Pierce play. Like we talked about, he can't make that throw, but he'll hit some layups. We saw proof of it 2 years ago when Daboll held his hand. And, he was throwing to like Isaiah Hodgins and like Ricky James that year. Now he's throwing to better Michael Pittman and like Tyler Warren, right?
Tyler Warren leading the National Football League amongst the tight end position in first read target share, which is really bad for Josh Downs. Obviously, what you're hoping for if you're a big Josh Downs drafter is relatively what happened last week, which is when the Indianapolis Colts are down in games, no pun intended, they're going to stop doing the 12 personnel then Downs will be on the field. But Tyler Warren being a first read target share merchant is really bad.
He gets all the RPO targets, but you should have been drafting Josh Downs in 2025. Like the thesis, even being someone that believes in Josh Downs' talent, was that you weren't going to have a fantasy run out for him in 2025.
Yeah. So the other compounding thing is that Cam Ward just is not quite there yet. He did have 2 like pretty phenomenal throws actually against Los Angeles, but the team is just not talented enough. Io Manor is out there doing his best. The offensive line is not good enough. He's been sacked 11 times with a 32% pressure to sack ratio. His time to throw is really low. It's just a little bit too much. Callahan, I don't think, seems to be like a quarterback whisperer. It's just a bit too much to put on his plate early. And the Colts are just a better team, like pretty much at every position. It is not, it's not like, I wouldn't say this is like a generational spot because it's on the road or whatever. And you do have to go through the hook. You do have to get to 4 or 4.5 for the Indianapolis Colts, but the Colts have not punted yet. I mean, we can believe a little bit of what our eyes show us. Like, we don't have to go all in. We don't have to say, oh, the Indianapolis Colts are making the Super Bowl or anything. But, I think we can be honest about
I don't think they're going to be the Saints, though, either, from last year.
I don't think they're going to be the Saints either. I don't think that Shane Steichen is this revolutionary. Like, I think what is happening right now is, he finally has a quarterback who can execute his offense and has a little bit of mobility. Because the issue with Flacco and Minshew doing his offense was they could do the point and click stuff, but the RPO and the move the pocket stuff obviously does not work as well when you have Gardner Minshew and Joe Flacco, because they are no threat to run at all. Daniel Jones is, obviously he's not as good of a rusher as Anthony Richardson, but he is some threat to run. So the offense, they can kind of do the same offense that Steichen has been trying to run with Anthony Richardson, just with a less athletic quarterback, a more accurate quarterback. But yeah, I'm liking the spot. I like the Colts for DFS quite a bit. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor, huge for DFS this week. Do you like Tyler Warren this week against the Titans?
I've been playing him every week, and I haven't, like, he hasn't smashed, but I haven't been mad that I have been over kind of exposed to him either. He hasn't killed me. I guess in a way he did indirectly kill me last week. So I only had 4 running backs in my pool last week, and I made a rule that my Tyler Warren lineups weren't going to have Jonathan Taylor. So that was the only thing. So I had Jonathan Taylor, but I had more Breece Hall than Jonathan Taylor because I played more Tyler Warren. So that kind of indirectly hurt me, but I wasn't mad at all. I still cashed, all my lineups. So, but that was the only thing. It could have been a generational day, though. It could have been, I could have been like, what was the user's name? That
Psychedelic Curse.
Psychedelic Curse. I could have been in his territory if, I just wasn't overexposed to Breece Hall.
Yeah. All right. That was also my number 2 game. Mr. Reeves, we finally
I think it took us 3 weeks, but I think we have the same number 1.
All right. Hit me with your social media quarterback at number 1.
Yeah, it's the Chargers, right? Like, is that all right? Yeah, they covered against the Broncos both times last year. We're getting them at home. It is they don't have the rest advantage, which that's the one kind of things. We haven't, every team with the rest advantage was won so far. But I just believe in what the Chargers are doing. They're winging the ball over the yard, man. They threw the ball again, 13% over expectations in week 2, 19% over expectations on first downs. Last year when they these teams faced each other, Herbert went off, man, in this game. Like, he threw for 9 yards for pass attempt and 2 touchdowns. The Broncos defense, as good as it is, they will play in some of these shootouts. I actually think if you don't like the Chargers in this game, the over is more in play, and this could be one of the pivot games because we kind of have our first game theory slate for DFS because Cowboys Bears is going to be so popularly owned in the late slate. So if you're chasing points in the late slate, you might have to go to Broncos, Chargers, or 49ers, Cardinals. But these teams played a shootout last time, and it was in LA as well, 34-27. And the Broncos, against these teams that really struggle to run the football, and I guess maybe the Colts don't count in this because of last week, but they will play in some shootouts. Remember the game at Burrow last year and the game at Jameis last year? Like, they'll get wrapped into some shootouts. And then the game against the Chargers last year, it was 34-27. in that game. So there could be some fantasy points in this game too, where a lot of people look at the Broncos defense and are like, maybe the run out's not going to be that high. I definitely think there's a path for that, but that's really it. I just believe in kind of what the Chargers are doing. So who hasn't said that before and haven't come loosely with the football them? But everything the Chargers are doing and what Harbaugh is doing, I'm like fully on board with. And Jesse Minter, low key, also deserves to be brought along with that as well. What he's doing on the defensive side of the ball.
Oh, I mean, he's been pretty awesome. The Chargers have been pretty awesome. They are number 1 in the NFL in PROE, and they're number 1 in the NFL in PROE by 50% over the second team, 14.8% PROE, 7.7% for my Kansas City Chiefs, who the less said about the better. They have the second highest
You got to respect the Chiefs just keep throwing, though. Like, screw it.
Well, they can't run. Kansas City Chiefs can't run. If you can't run, if your
you think
options
they're going to run on the Giants?
They're going to try. I think one thing the Chiefs might do this week is they might totally give up on the Isaiah Pacheco experience and just be like, well, how bad can Brashard Smith possibly be?
No, they need to give up on the Kareem Hunt experience.
No, see, that's a misreading of the situation. That's not knowing Andy Reid. Andy Reid and Matt Nagy love what Kareem Hunt gives them. He is 100% success rate on short yardage carries this year.
No, he just got stopped on a 4th and 1. He just lost it.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. He did. You're right. So he's 7 for 8 on short yardage stuff. But they are totally comfortable with what Kareem Hunt gives them. They're more tilted at Pacheco because they know what they have in Kareem Hunt. There's no surprise. Like, Kareem Hunt is there to get 2 yards when they need 2 yards. The idea was that Pacheco was going to add some extra spice to the running game that he has not been able to do. Right. By the way, the Packers having a 12.5 ADOT is so funny because Jordan Love only has 56 dropbacks on the year. So like 2 deep throws have totally skewed his ADOT. The Chargers are throwing past the sticks, which is like it's kind of all happening for the Chargers. I did a video this week about
because Herbert's good. I mean, like I said, I've been trying to fight that. I've been one of those social media warriors for Justin Herbert. He's a good quarterback, and it's crazy that he just keeps getting dunked
on. Yes, yeah, you are. You're not wrong. So that's my number 1 game. Now Reeves, Survivor this week is very interesting.
We stuck through.
Oh yeah, we did. We snuck through by the hair of our chinny chin. I've made a bunch of the picks. Let me pull up my Reeves entry. So this is our entry. Let's see. What did we do last? We did do Dallas. So we did Denver in week 1. So Denver's off, and we did Dallas. Now we have I saved Seattle in there for our pick. But I do think Survivor this week is fairly interesting. Obviously, a decent bit of the pool did take Buffalo last night. Green Bay, fairly popular, but Green Bay, I mean, this home game to Cincinnati, even at Arizona, they're a pick. They get a home game against the Panthers. They get a home game against the Vikings.
Oh, they're at the Giants, yeah.
They have a ton of pickable games.
They have the Bears later in the year.
Seattle is not favored by more than 1.5 points on the look ahead lines for the entire rest of the season, but they also are so popular. This feels like a relatively difficult, kind of I don't really know how to reason through the game theory here, but what are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I like both of those picks, for sure. What else are we looking at? Is there any sneakers here? I'm just kind
of. I would say your sneaky one potentially Tampa Bay. They also have.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to pick them though.
Yeah, they have very sneaky low future value. Like you'd think like, oh, like this is a playoff team, but they're really not favored by a ton. I'll tell you another sneaky one, the Atlanta Falcons, because the Carolina Panthers do not seem all that interested in winning football games. They were down 3 scores last week against Arizona Cardinals, and they were just happy to do these, 13 play, just keep rushing.
Well, that's Jonathan Gannon makes you do that too, but I'll tell you what, if you want a crazy stat, because Falcons first half line is -2.5. Bryce Young has now started 30 games. They've led at the halftime in only 5 of those 30 games.
I mean, that seems pretty bad to me. I'm not a a numerical expert or whatever, but I do, now this pool that we are in, which is the it's pretty small. We are at 271 total entrants.
How many are left?
That's what I am trying to ascertain right now. 243 of 271, which is the chalk has been really good.
If the Cowboys would have lost.
If the Cowboys would have lost, I mean, right now I can check the availability tab. The Dallas Cowboys were selected 59 times, 22% of the pool was on the Dallas Cowboys last week and would have been eliminated. It looks like a couple people took the Steelers last week. A couple people took the Vikings. I actually had an entry that took the Vikings last week. I felt immediately stupid for having done that.
I think it's Seahawks.
I think it is.
I think it's Seahawks.
Yeah. I think it is as well. Because if you're not taking them now, you're
right.
Really
that's just what I think. Because we're gonna. I mean, Packers are gonna be available. They're on the road. Seattle's at least at home.
Yes, and so for this pool, you also have to make 2 picks in week 4 and 2 picks
okay,
in week 13.
As you said. I like that. I like that a lot.
Seattle maybe would be clickable for this home game against Minnesota, but probably not by then. And the other teams that are theoretically pickable, Tampa Bay is actually favored that week, and Atlanta gets to play the Jets that week. I guess it's at the Jets.
Chat did shout out Chiefs. Chiefs are probably good this week too. You and your soul just won't let it happen.
I would say I would much rather pick the Chiefs for a home game. I would just much rather take them one of these.
There's no way they're going 0-3 to the Giants though.
What does Travis Kelce have saved for us in the fourth quarter right now?
You're so injured. You're so hurt inside. They lost to 2 good teams, and they at least were in those games.
They lost to 2 good teams with nothing but self-inflicted wounds.
You're so damaged. You're like such a scorned lover right now.
What I need is proof of concept, Reeves. I need proof of concept. I need to show.
Do Seattle.
I mean, look, I think the Chiefs are obviously clickable this week, but I think that they are. I mean, you could take the Chiefs against Jacksonville. You could take the Chiefs against the Raiders. You could take the Chiefs against Indy, against Dallas, against Houston, against Tennessee. They have a bunch of
fair enough. No, you're right. I mean, the look at it, it's just Seattle's gonna be popular, but it makes sense.
I mean, if I was in a huge pool, like if I was in the, Splashboard says the $2.5 million pool or whatever, I would basically not take Seattle this week. I think your game theory is just like, I mean, they might be picked 25% this week.
Did you set this up, the Survivor?
Yes.
Let me ask, does this site that it's on?
Yeah.
Do they allow you to do it where it's the inverse, where you have to pick a loser every week, but you can only use the loser one time? Because I think those are the best Survivor polls.
So when I had a conversation with them, they said that's on their roadmap, but it's just not done yet.
Those are by far the best Survivor polls because you can only use the Titans once,
yes.
And then you've got to start picking better teams. So that I like the game theory of those a lot more. I was in one of those for the first time a couple years ago, and I've stayed with every year. I think it's so much more fun than even picking the winners.
I actually agree with you. And that was what I wanted this contest to be. They just don't have that functionality set up.
That's why I wanted to ask. That would be awesome because I would love to set one of those up.
I believe for next year, this version of this contest, the one for this channel, will be a loser's pool.
Pick a loser.
So it'll be, you have to pick a loser every single week. All right, Reeves, let us pick some props over on Underdog Fantasy heading into the champions pool. Where are we going to begin picking this week?
I've got a prop bet that I've smashed, so let's put it on here. It's Kyler Murray rushing yards.
Kyler Murray rushing yards. I assume that this is a higher.
Yeah.
Do you want?
I want you to go crazy. Let's do it to what is it? Can we do to 40 or to 50?
49.5 is.
All right, let's go wild here.
Is a
because I did ladder this too.
Okay. All right. Give me the logic.
Well, he's scrambling at a career high rate right now, but they haven't had to throw in the second half of any games. They're actually 6th in the NFL in dropback rate in neutral game script. He's also against Robert Saleh defenses in 5 matchups has run for 57 yards per game against him. So yeah, I've laddered this one up to 50. So I like it. I like it. I'm sharing this one with the group.
The 49ers were the
You guys
team.
can all come at me and tomato me when this doesn't hit.
Reeves, I will actually never forget. Basically, the best play of Kyler Murray's career was a rushing play.
Where he pointed? Where he the point?
He's on the 40-yard line and he points.
Yes.
He goes, this is a touchdown. So immediately sold because your data analysis lines up with my memory. What I want to try and sell you on a Dontavian Wicks, either receiving yards higher or 6.85 fantasy points or longest reception. Really, any of these for Dontavian Wicks.
I like them all. Like them all, dude.
Let's do a little slide. Let's do 49.5 receiving yards. If he's going to get 39.5, fella might get, might easily get 49.5.
This is why we can't do these together. It's like, fuck it, man. Let's just pump it up.
Well, I will say this for the underdog stuff. A lot of the times, because I'm not edge grinding, like I'm not arbitrage trading versus other stuff. I'm not trying to grind out a 5% ROI on these. Like I would love to hit a
yeah.
So the median stuff is like, sure, it's fun and I'm gonna do it, but like if you are treating it as using your hunches, it's kind of just in practice the expected value is going to be the same if I'm doing 39 or 49.5 yards because I'm not carrying a huge edge into this. All right, so we have got Kyler Murray.
For his career, Dontavian Wicks has been targeted on 33.3% of his routes against man coverage. This season, it's 42%. He has the highest rate of target per route run. He's 11th out of 105 qualifiers the past 3 years in targets per route run. You know why he had some drops? Because he gets open and they throw him the football. But he also hasn't dropped any passes this year. In his rookie year, he didn't drop passes either. So what's stickier, earning targets or 1 year of drops?
It's the most inconvenient truth that Dontavian Wicks is a very good wide receiver. Drops tend to be one of the least sticky things. How many great wide receivers has the narrative about them been?
Remember after week 1, people were like, CD Lamb's dropped the most passes over the last 4 years. I'm like, yeah, because he has 400 fucking targets. Like
Julio Jones. There's always a Julio Jones thing.
Like,
people would always kill Julio Jones. And it's like, yeah, Julio Jones gets 9 billion receptions. So he's more likely to drop the ball because he gets targeted.
Shocking that the guy that has the most drops over the past 4 years is the guy that gets a lot of targets.
Yes.
Very, very shocking with this development.
Yeah. Who could have possibly predicted this? All right, we've got Wicks. We've got Kyler. Let's go.
What else do we want to do that's pretty fun? Here, I'll tell you what.
Brother.
Give me how about a Terry McLaurin longest?
I hate it. I think they don't even have it. They're not going to have Washington Commanders.
Because I just saw too that Daniels didn't practice. Like it's happening. Yep. Mariota's in.
Mariota's going to play.
What is Mariota in DFS this week? What is he priced?
I have not looked yet, but I can pull it up.
All right. Well, we don't have to. We don't have to do it.
I'm going to guess that Mariota is going to be adjusted, but maybe he isn't. Marcus Mariota cost $4,000 against the Las Vegas Raiders. He was a Raider, right?
Yes, he was.
Revenge. Yeah, so no Commander stuff is going to be up.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense, though, that why it's not lined. But, yeah, I do like this as a Terry McLaurin catch a long ball game. For sure. So I'll be looking for that one if it's back up. All right. So let me give another one. We'll pivot here. What are we doing about? Oh, let's just do. We talked about CD Lamb. What about some CD Lamb stuff?
Let's do some CD Lamb stuff. I think that's a fun way to play this game. It's just some alt stuff here. Do you want to do CD up to 89.5? Do you like the spot for him like that?
Buddy, give me the hundo.
Give me the hundo. Yeah, we're 3 picks in and we're already at a 17.5. I think we might be able to get a 500xer here. One of the easiest 500xers of all time. We have Kyler Murray, Dontavian Wicks, and Cedarian Lamb. I am going to go to the Pittsburgh New England game, and I want to see what Jaylen Warren has available as a receiver. I like Jaylen Warren higher than 3.5 receptions. What
Oh
say
yeah,
you?
I took his yards already. I bet that his receiving yards when it was 19.5.
Do you like 3.5 receptions or 22.5 yards
I
more?
like them both. I think you have more outs with the yards
Yeah.
than the
You know what? You're right.
catches.
You do. Because he can get that. He can get that on one play. As we saw, he had like a 47-yard reception.
Great play. Yeah, it's a
Last
sick
week.
play.
Really, really good play. All right. So we've got Kyler, Wicks, Lamb, and Warren. Where are we going next?
Do we try to get early on some Kenneth Walker stuff?
Yeah.
Are they not going to have it up? Are they not going to have it up and wait for Sharps?
No. We've got minus 112 to score a touchdown, basically. We've got 14.5 receiving yards, 67.5 rushing yards. I like the touchdown.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Let's do a Kenneth Walker Tud.
Kenneth Walker Tud. We are up to 58.5x. Trying to see.
This is the one.
This is
generational wealth.
Generational wealth. All right, let's go.
What could go wrong?
Let's go Chiefs Giants Sunday night, and let's take Tyrone. Well, never mind. I was gonna say we're doing all hires. Here's the Davis Mattek.
You wouldn't let me pick them in a Survivor, but you want to take Chiefs overs? Like I'm
no. I was gonna start taking lowers, but that's not what we're doing here. I was gonna tell you, your Davis Mattek Gold Star, add it to every Underdog DFS pick'em entry you make is Tyrone Tracy not to score a touchdown this week. Tyrone Tracy, they let you do that. I mean, it's like minus 400, but I do not care. Tyrone Tracy not to score a touchdown this week. Can I interest you in a J. Herbie rushing hire?
Sure. He's been running.
4.5 rush attempts or 19.5 rushing yards?
Let's do the yards.
19.5 rushing yards.
Yeah,
there we go.
He's coasted to that, right? He's gotten that both weeks. I can't remember last year.
Easily.
His longest hit last week, his longest run.
His scramble rate has been unbelievable. All right. He was actually their leading rusher last week. What is your number one here, Mr. Hribar?
Oh, what do you want to do?
Or maybe not your number one, your final one.
Do we want to correlate?
We can.
You're gonna hate this though. I kind of like DJ Moore receptions.
No, I love it. I have always been a DJ Moore guy. 4.5 receptions, 9.75 fantasy points.
What's his catches? 4.5.
4.5.
I like kind of all these. Cowboys are number one in the NFL in rate of cover 2 through 2 weeks. A Matt Eberflus special, obviously.
Yeah.
And DJ Moore actually has the highest team target share through 2 weeks against cover 2. Kind of like this one.
All right, bang. 4.5 receptions for DJ Moore. This is a 190 Xer. Basically, the easiest thing that you're ever going to find is 190 Xing your money. I'm going to add in. I would love. What's your belief level in Wentz as it pertains to getting the ball to Justin Jefferson? Because this is my thought.
I kind of looked at his lines are a little juiced still, but I mean, if he's able to, if KOC has coaxed production out of Josh Dobbs and Nick Mullins, how far away is Carson Wentz from like those guys? My problem is they're dead last in the NFL in plays.
Yes, but part of that has been.
But if Jordan Mason's rolling, is he not going to do the same thing here at Carson Wentz? Is he not going to do the Jordan? If Darrisaw plays, they're just going to run the ball, right?
So
because I thought Justin Jefferson would be an amazing leverage play for DFS, and then when I started to break down my receiver pool and his cost, I was like, man, it might not be the smash that I was looking for.
Yes. So I just pulled up these splits without Kirk Cousins. Oh, these can't possibly be right. Something is wrong here because Justin Jefferson is not averaging 35 fantasy points per game.
It'd be impressive though. It would be impressissive.
All right, let's go.
I can get him for you for real. With just True Media.
There you go. Mullins. Yeah, give me the True Media. So
So the problem with using the splits in this capacity, especially the Mullen splits, is Mullins had like 2 bonfire games against the Lions where they were like shootouts, where they were just like, dude, we got to wing it. Like we've just got to throw the ball ad nauseum. And I just don't know if that's the case here with Jake Brown. If Toe Burrow was playing, we'd have a shot. But
my goodness, dude, the line.
I looked at Mason stuff. It's
18 and a half rush attempts. I mean, no chance.
And
no
that's
chance.
the problem is none of it's correlated. Like they have Jordan Mason lined at 18 and a half rushing attempts, but Jefferson still is at like 75 yards. And it's just like
my
one of those things ain't true.
Is that KOC has some level of responsibility to like develop JJ McCarthy and like, ease him into the NFL, put him in a position to succeed. But like, it's not all focused right now on winning games. Like some of it is just like, we got to do kind of what's best for JJ. There's none of that with Carson Wentz. It is whatever you are a hired gun. I'm going to get out of you what I can get out of you. We are trying to win right now. And if the thing that is best for us to win right now is to drop back 47 times, we're going to drop back 47 times. So I do like the Jefferson stuff, but let's keep looking because we have all locks right now. Right. When
I was because my initially came into this week when I was doing my initial pool was like, man, Justin Jefferson is in like the most leveraged spot like we could ask for. And then like he is still just like a little bit, juiced up. So I was like, oh man. Like,
can I sell you on a BTJ squeaky wheel game?
I mean, that was last week.
We could do.
How about this one? Can I get you on a Ricky Pearsall longest catch?
Yes, you can. You can. You sure can sell me on that. It's not available. They just pulled it.
We can't. I can't sell you on shit then.
You can't. JSN higher receptions, 6.5 higher receptions or higher yards. I think this is a 6 spot for JSN.
I mean, they're all 6 spots for JSN.
They're all 6. We're doing it. We're doing 6.5 receptions. This gets us to a nice, cool 361.55x on the Underdog application. I'm going to put $5 of my own cold hard American money on that one because I am actually, boys, I'm out of site credits. I'm all the way played through my site credits. It's just cold hard American dollar.
Hey, have you burned through your FanDuel credits that you were allowed to use in week 2?
I did. I burned through them all. And Reeves, this is how good I am. I made money on
so did I credits. Because I lost them in week 1, but then in week 2 I got to use the credits, and then my lineups were all good.
Yep. That's basically what happened to me. As I had $550 of site credits, my teams were good enough in week 2. I deposited $750, and I have 850 real US dollars in the account. Kyler Murray higher than 49.5 rush yards. Dontavian Wicks 49.5 receiving yards. CeeDee Lamb up to 99.5 receiving yards. Jalen Warren 22.5 receiving yards. Ken Walker to score a touchdown. Justin Herbert higher than 19.5 rush yards. DJ Moore 4.5 receptions. JSN 6.5 receptions.
Never seen a more beautiful. I've never seen a more beautiful card than that.
No, and so I did that as a standard, and I'm now going to do it as a flex as well because wouldn't it just be such a shame to get 7 of these right and not get all the way home? What a beautiful. I mean, it's perfect. You can never possibly complain about that.
Thing of beauty.
All right, Reeves, what can the people get from you and Hilo here in about 30 minutes?
Yeah, I'm going to be going on with Hilo to do Searching for Ceiling, where we kind of walk through the DFS slate, which is a really fun one this week. We have our first game theory slate because we have the 4 o'clock games, and all the initial ownership is going to that Cowboys game. So we've got a ways to kind of play around our the slate in that capacity. I'll also be on with Pat Crane this afternoon as well, doing angles and upside, which has been a ton of fun to do so far. I've never done a show with Crane, and we've come together pretty well here.
He is the absolute best. Yeah. I do, however, have something I have umbrage to pick with you guys. The name that you guys picked, angles and upside, it's fine. No issues. What it should be called is two rich guys, though. Two rich guys. I saw someone put that in the comments. Two rich guys. Two rich guys is way better.
That's good. Well, we played it off of, the Sharp Angles podcast, which I do, and then
Yes.
Legendary Upside, so Angles and Upside. But yeah, two rich guys is fun. I told my wife got monkey pawed. She always wanted to marry rich. I always say she always dreamt of marrying rich and just wasn't specific enough.
You do love to see it. All right, Reebs. I will let you.
Yep. Love you guys. Good luck,
gather your thoughts.
everyone, this weekend. See you in them streets.
There you go. Later to Rich Hribar. You guys know what is coming up now. We are going to fire a bunch of entries in the DFS Pick'em streets over on Underdog Fantasy. And I actually have a treat for you guys this week. I have loaded up the most plus EV plays for my friend Derek Carty. These are over on Unabated. And I can just tell you right now, it's very funny. He's very high on Carson Wentz. He's very high on Jalen Warren. He's in on Najee Harris lowers. Very in on Daniel Jones, very in on Alvin Kamara, as he usually is. So we are going to thread through some of these, and we are going to go ahead and make some DFS pick'em entries over on Underdog Fantasy. I think the very first thing we got to do the Hateful Eight. Hateful Eight is going to be the very beginning because we just took an absolute slappy all hires. I think that we should begin with Atlanta and Carolina. I'm going to take the lower on the combo yards for Chuba Hubbard. I think that Chuba Hubbard has been absolutely bailed out in the fourth quarter each of the last 2 weeks. I'm betting on that being a trend that does not continue here. I think that we should probably look at some Los Angeles Rams lowers, lower than 5.5 receptions for Devontae Adams. That feels pretty strong. I just think the expected volume there is going to be quite low. I think that we could probably pretty convincingly take some lowers over on the Tampa Bay, New York game. We're going to do Emeka Egbuka not to score a touchdown. We are going to do Tyrone Tracy not to score a touchdown. That one, that's my favorite one of the week on Underdog is Tyrone Tracy not to score a touchdown. Who else can we hate on here? Houston and Jacksonville lower than 52.5 rushing yards for Nicholas Chubb. Again, just unbelievable, dude. Chubb fewer than 1 yard per carry before that touchdown. Absolutely no good there. I would like to go to the Washington. All the Washington stuff is pulled right now. So that is a little bit unfortunate. I wonder if there's a way to angle against J.K. Dobbins in this one. I'm going to do lower than 13.5 rush attempts for J.K. Dobbins. I do think in a game that is probably going to be a little bit more tilted in the Chargers' favor than the line is just, that's a great way to start to view the pick'em stuff on Underdog is top down. See which game line you disagree with or do some mental math of the game script in your head and then play it from there. I think that one seems pretty good. Probably some lowers to be had on the Arizona side. We could do lower than 13.5 receiving yards for James Conner. We could do Trey Benson not to score a touchdown. That feels pretty good. I guess they just don't have enough stuff available on the menu there. Can I take Chris Olave not to score a touchdown? Is Chris Olave? Yes, Chris Olave not to score a touchdown. Looks like the Chuba Hubbard one got replaced. Unclear why that would be, but all right, let me refresh here because that one, that is the piece de resistance. Yes, as Mr. TD notes, Igbuka is not going to score every game. Also needed to start this comment from Jay Sprez. Came in second in the DK33 last night for 15K. A Kincaid captain. Shout out to you. And Walter Gregg, a new YouTube member. Shout out to everyone who is supporting the program. Shout out to everyone who keeps me away from State Farm. There we go. We have the lower combo yards there. We have one more remaining selection. I wonder, can I take a Judkins lower rushing yards? Yeah, we're going to do lower than 42.5 rushing yards for Judkins. We are going to enter $5 on the standard. Devontae Adams lower than 5.5 receptions. Emeka Egbuka not to score. Tyrone Tracy not to score. Lower than 52.5 rush yards for Nick Chubb. Lower than 13.5 rush attempts for J.K. Dobbins. Chris Olave not to score a touchdown. Chuba Hubbard not to score a touchdown. Quinshon Judkins not to score a touchdown. Sharing that in the live chat. Sharing the Hateful 8 in the YouTube description as well. The Hateful 8. Bada bing, bada boom. Now we got to go back to our slappy side, and we have to do our touchdowns. I would like to correlate these, obviously, with some of the guys I love in the BR streets. I think we should do Jonathan Taylor. Actually, you know what? We're taking Tony Pollard to score a touchdown. We're saying that this is the week that a guy with a 90% snap share, literally the best role in the NFL. No player has a better role out of the backfield right now than Tony Pollard. I think we should do that. I think that we should take, man, you know what? I actually don't like that price for Bijan. I'm not going to do that. I am going to take Puka Nacua to generate a touchdown. The guy has just been absolutely unbelievable for the Los Angeles Rams. 3 yards per route run. We're taking Puka to score a touchdown. We are going to select Jaylen Warren to score a touchdown against the New England Patriots. I think there's this idea that the Patriots defense is very good. The Patriots defense is not good. I don't really know where that comes from. I think it's like kind of like institutional memory from fantasy football fans, but the Patriots defense is not good. So we have Jaylen Warren to score a touchdown. We are also going to take Travis Etienne Jr. at 1.1x to score a touchdown against the Houston Texans. They are really giving him the ball around the goal line. One of my absolute favorite plays this week is Ashton Genty. I think that Genty is probably the most overhated fantasy football player right now, a guy who has not like absolutely lit the world on fire as a fantasy football player. We're going to take Ashton Genty to score a touchdown there. That is 5 picks. We are also, wow, we just got Ken Walker at even money, and he just moved to 0.86. Wow, that is really something there. I kind of like Sedarian Lamb to score a touchdown. I kind of like, you know what? We're going to take DJ Moore. We're taking DJ Moore to score a touchdown on this one. We're also going to take Christian McCaffrey to score a touchdown on this one. We have one more pick left to make. And you know what, folks? They say that I hate my Kansas City Chiefs. And I do. I am really bummed out on my Kansas City Chiefs. But we are going to take Travis Kelce to finally succeed for a touchdown this way. His name is Sedarian. It sure is. That is CeeDee Lamb's real name. All right, these are our touchdown octopus boys this week. Tony Pollard, Puka Nacua, Jaylen Warren, Travis Etienne, Ashton Genty, DJ Moore, Christian McCaffrey, and Travis Kelce. That is who is going to sell us? Comment down below on that touchdown DFS pick'em entry. Who is the guy who is most likely to sell us on the TD Octopus? It's probably going to be Kelce. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's probably going to be Kelce. All right. Next, what we're going to do our core. So this is just my favorite plays of the week, all stacked up into one lineup. I think this one, I think that it is self-explanatory, but these are going to be my favorite plays of the week. So we are going to do Tyrone Tracy not to score a touchdown. We are going to do Christian McCaffrey to generate what? Oh, he doesn't have a receptions. Christian McCaffrey receptions would be my absolute favorite one, but it looks like it's not available. So that's a little bit of a bummer. We are going to do Sedarian Lamb higher than 79.5 receiving yards. I think this is just an absolutely unreal spot for him in this game. And then we are also on the Indianapolis, Tennessee game. We are going to slide Jonathan Taylor up to 99.5 rushing yards. That gets us to a 4.25x. Oh, you guys think Warren's going to sell us? Yeah, he probably does. These represent, like, I love the spot for CD. I love the spot for Jonathan Taylor. These are tailor-made spots for us here. I absolutely love all of these. And if Tyrone Tracy scores a touchdown, I guess it was not meant to be. I have placed $25 of my own American currency on this Underdog DFS Pick'em entry core. I hope to honestly, I hope to see all of you guys at the top of this one here. Love to take a touchdown lower at 0.65x. Now we got to do the super slider, which is a little bit different. I think I'm going to play into this idea that Carson Wentz gets us there with Justin Jefferson. We're going to take Justin Jefferson to 109 yards and a half on that slider there. I'm going to take Ashton Jeanty, and I'm going to take Ashton Jeanty. I wonder what he is to get, 89 and a half yards is a 2.46x. I cannot get over the disrespect to my boy Ashton Jeanty. I think it is preposterous. And then we're going to go to the Denver Los Angeles Chargers game. And I've got a pretty strong feeling this week about one Mr. Ladd McConkey. Obviously, everything has gone in Keenan Allen's favor to start the year. And there's a really interesting way to look at data to begin the season. Because one of the things you can do is you can look at the data, you can look at the routes, you can look at the targets, and you can say, well, I assume that this is going to be static. I obviously think that that is not a great way to do it. I think that one of the things that you should do when you're looking at the early season data is say, what is static and what is not going to be static? I don't think that particularly for the Los Angeles Chargers, that Ladd McConkey is going to be out-targeted by Quentin Johnston over the course of the year. I think that we are going to see Ladd McConkey's by the end of the year. Do you guys think that Ladd McConkey is going to be third on the Chargers in utilization rate? Because I certainly do not. So right now we've got Justin Jefferson to 109.5 receiving yards, Jeanty to 89.5 rush yards, and Ladd McConkey to 99.5 rush yards. That gets us to, I like to do this. I like to figure out what's the lowest amount I can put in to get exactly $1,000. So there we go. We're going to put 18 American dollars on this one. And there we go. We're going to do that there. But that is our super slider of the week. Justin Jefferson, Ashton Jeanty, and Ladd McConkey. That one is also in the description of the video. Man, I really love doing these. The super slider. And then let's do one more 8-legger. Let's do one more 8-legger that's all fantasy points. That's kind of a fun one. So let's go Green Bay at Cleveland. Let's go to Harold. Does Harold Fannin Jr. have fantasy points? 7.25 fantasy points for Harold Fannin Jr. We're going to take a higher there. Indianapolis and Tennessee. How many fantasy points? 17.5 for Jonathan Taylor is a lot. Daniel Jones, 17.55. We're going to take a higher there for Daniel Jones. We are going to look at Tedoroya McMillan at 11.35. That one's pretty close. I don't love that one as much. What is Kyle Pitts' fantasy points? 7.75 fantasy points for Kyle Pitts. I kind of want to do it. We're not going to, though. I actually don't love that game. We're going to take Puka Nacua higher than 14.05 fantasy points. That one feels very good. I wonder, does Carson Wentz have a fantasy points available for us? 14.85 fantasy points for Carson Wentz. Send it. Yeah, we are actually going to take that for our boy Carson Wentz. Pittsburgh at New England. I like the Drake May one here. Drake May higher than 17.75 fantasy points. Steelers defense also has not been very good this year. Houston at Jacksonville. What is the Travis Hunter? 7.75 fantasy points. Yeah, we're doing higher than that for Travis Hunter Jr. Denver at the Los Angeles Chargers. We are going to do Justin Herbert higher than 18.25 fantasy points. And then we are going to scroll down to the Dallas Football Cowboys, and we're going to take higher than 10.95 fantasy points for George Pickens. Unbelievable. Also very good stuff there. We are going to put $10 on that one, and that is actually a neat and tidy 120x. Puts us in an absolutely phenomenal position over the course of this slate to have a sweat. The fantasy points monster. So there we go. There are a bunch of underdog picks. They're all over there on these are all in the YouTube description. Guys, make sure that you like the video. make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And